Where am I? What happened? Holy crap! A ghost!
Welcome to the land of the dead.
Cute.
Hey everybody, Kevin here from PSVG, the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network, bringing back something we haven't done in a bit of time now, and that is a review done quick. Today's topic is the latest game to come from Zoink Games, and that is a game known as Flipping Death. Welcome to Flatwood Peaks, a small whimsical town with a bit of a problem. Death is on vacation. You play as Penny and help trapped ghosts with your trusted scythe. You can flip the entire world around to solve puzzles on both the living and the dead side while slowly uncovering the mystery surrounding your own demise. That's the synopsis there from Zoink Games. Yep, as it said, that's pretty much the storyline. You start the game as Penny, who has a unfortunate death. And when she shows up in the afterworld, Death takes it that she is there to relieve him so he can go on vacation, and kind of just throws all this on Penny. The premise of the game is you kind of go through the underworld helping trapped souls who can't move on because something isn't resolved in the world of the living. So as Penny, you kind of run around to solve these problems for them. You can collect spirits, which then help you basically possess the living. So you have these different little spirits flying around, you gather them, and as you go by a living person on the living side, it'll tell you how many of those spirits you need to capture in order to take them over. When you take them over, you force them to perform actions in the living world, and each character kind of has a different ability. There's a guy, as odd as it sounds, with a really long tongue who can lick things. There's a guy who likes to poke things, you can use him to flip switches and such. And basically all of the different things where if you're a certain persona, you can get into certain places and do certain actions. So it's more of a puzzle platformer type game more than anything. As you solve these different puzzles, crimes, whatever the case may be, you then are able to have the spirits move on, and you yourself can move on to the next part of the story as you slowly find out that, this isn't too spoiler here, that you really weren't supposed to die. So now as you're helping these other spirits, you're trying to find out exactly what happened and why you're there. So the game has some different unique gameplay features. Like I said, it's an adventure platforming type thing. You're able to flip the world from the living and the dead just by pressing a single button on your controller there, so it's a lot of going back and forth to get around obstacles or talk to certain people. As I mentioned, you're able to possess the living and use them to solve your puzzles because you can't do so many things because, well, you're a ghost. And there's different physics combined with an immersive story. The physics is kind of neat in this game, the way things move and when you manipulate people, how you're able to then use their different abilities in your favor there. And also the scythe mechanic is kind of cool. You're able to throw Death's scythe in the dead world, and then almost like a reverse Thor's hammer. Instead of making the scythe come back to you, you then teleport to the scythe. So you can use it to reach higher platforms or to teleport quickly to catch more spirits to help you possess other people. If you're not familiar with Zoink's other games, they did come out with Stick It to the Man a few years back, which this game is considered a spiritual successor. That game was overall well received. We did some coverage for it on PSVG as well. And overall people liked it. And there's actually a little Easter egg there dedicated to Stick It to the Man there very early in the game as well. Couple notes I do want to talk about here. The art style in this game is probably one of the most unique standout features. Like when you see this trailer or some gameplay footage that we're showing, you really get to see what the game looks and feels like, and there's really not much like it. It does look similar to Stick It to the Man, but the art style is very well done. It's like playing a cartoon almost, and I just simply love it. It's very Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraftian kind of dark, but it's also humorous at the same time. The sound design is fantastic. A ton, if not all the characters are voiced by different people, so you get a feel for what these spirits and these characters are really all about. As some of them do appear in multiple chapters in the game, they're reoccurring characters. You get a feel for them, and the voiceover work is very well done so that it gives you that connection to these characters.
Penny Durwood had just been fired. This was not the first time she'd been fired for, in her words, just trying to liven things up. But it would be the last.
Music, overall, it doesn't really stand out for me. I couldn't even tell you which track was favorite or an area that I thought the music stood out. It's kind of just ambient noise, which is fine because the voice acting really stands out, and there's a lot of it in this game as well. The controls are kind of hit or miss here. So I mentioned the whole scythe teleportation thing, and that's kind of your main mode of transportation other than jumping. Your character can't really jump that high, so the scythe is used a lot to get to upper grounds. There's a lot of Metroidvania backtracking done in each section too. And the physics are definitely a unique feature for them, but it's not always something that kind of clicked with me, and that just might be my capabilities and kind of wrapping my head around what I needed to do. But it didn't take away from the game, but it definitely gave it a feel of something different than we've experienced in the past. Overall, like I said, if you're a fan of, like, let's say Disney's Haunted Mansion or this Crash Box, which was a series on HBO, it just kind of has this feel where it's a very funny game. It's very well written. Like I said, the voice acting is phenomenal. I do think this may be a big time winner, especially on the Switch, because I think this would be a great portable game to play in small chunks as you make your progress in helping these souls move on to the underworld. The characters are super memorable and endearing. Everything from the bumbling policeman to the local creep in town who marries old women just to murder them and take all their money. So there's all that going on. So can't really go wrong with that. So as I mentioned, the game is coming out from Zoink Games. It is being released on August 7th. It's going to retail for $20, so it's actually a really, really good price for this game. I think that's like the perfect sweet spot for it. It is going to be available on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and on Steam, so it's there all over the place. It does have languages you select from: English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. So despite whatever your language of choice is, it's most likely there. And as I mentioned, it is coming from Zoink Games. So you can find out more from this game by heading over to our YouTube channel, where we'll be posting some more gameplay. I will be streaming this game for a bit as well to give you some more hands-on experience with it. You can also feel free to ask me some questions when you see it streaming. I'll be happy to answer it. And then tune in to next week's Play Some Video Games podcast, which will come out on the 13th of August, and we will take some time to discuss this game at length. Both Donnie and myself were able to play it, so but overall, I would definitely say this game is a must-play for any gamer who wants to experience something just a little bit different, a little unique, a little quirky, and I mean, hey, a little weird. And odds are, if you're watching or listening to this, you might be into that kind of stuff. So as always, everybody, remember to never stop gaming.
Looks like this dentist is armed to the...